Okay, hello everyone, it's Tsuki. So, I was waiting in queue off camera for Amdapor Keep, and that's what we're going to be doing now. Doing some of my Beach Tribe dailies as well while we wait for Amdapor Keep to pop. This dungeon should be fairly easy, since it's like one of the very first dungeons you can do. It's basically tuned more to like item level 70 to like 90-ish, and again, like I think the max cap you can really have is like 110. I think is what it's capped to, item level wise. But even then, we're going to completely blow through most of these. So we do actually want to kill this caster first, because if you let him get that cast off, he summons more stuff basically. Our tank might be new too. Actually, who knows? It's very possible. Oh, we have a red mage with us. I don't think scatter is the best play for two enemies. Oh, it's one of those dungeons. A lot of the older dungeons have this problem where it's like there's no music, right? Like you get a really nice introduction music, and then after that it's like the music's completely dependent on if you're in combat or not, and then it's like the very generic dungeon music. I think Pharaoh Sirius. I think once you get to like 2.1 dungeons is when they start really having their own dungeon BGM. Which is really nice. There's like a pack over there. You don't actually need to pull that. In fact, I don't even know why it's there. Like, is there even like a chest back there? Like, I've actually never pulled this pack on the right before. I've done this dungeon easily over 100 times. Trust me. There's no reason to pull this pack over here other than, I guess, experience. Which we're actually getting a sizable amount. We are going to over level so much. I don't even bother throwing on Heat of Battle anymore because it's just gonna make it worse. It really is. Like I want to be like level 70 like once we get to Stormblood. Like I even went through the trouble of leveling a second job to sort of help divert some XP that I'm getting. But I think we're still gonna over level to heck and back. So we are kind of taking this slow. Once you get to like the level 50 dungeons, it becomes very standard for a lot of tanks and a lot of groups to accept that you do large pulls and just AoE down large packs of mobs. That's what a lot of people do. I'm completely fine with either way. It's just when it comes to leveling dungeons, I prefer really not to, because those are leveling dungeons, and they're a little more fine-tuned, makes it a lot more difficult. But I'm fine with either way, if I'm being completely honest. Although some people get very impatient when their tanks don't pull everything, and then they pull stuff themselves. That does bother me a lot though. Alright, please, please. Okay, well, I had him stand facing the same spot long enough for me to get my trick attack off at least. So you can't actually kill this priest before he summons his golem, by the way. Like, you'll get him down to 1%, or not the golem, the mind flare, or the psych flare, I guess. You can get him down to 1%, but he'll just stay at 1% to finish the cast anyway, which is really unfortunate. And all this guy does is basically you just cast Paralyze and some Root Might stuff. He'll tether to this golem, and the golem will do big AoEs, but honestly, as scary as the AoEs may seem, they don't actually do a whole lot. In fact, they do nothing. Like this looks intimidating, right? If you stand in it, it does like nothing. Like, I remember the first time I stood in it just to see what it would do, and my mind was completely blown because I always went out of my way to avoid it. And it did like 2,000 damage to me, which is not a whole lot of damage. Like, even back when you were geared for like in Dark Light gear, which is item level 70, that wasn't a whole lot. It's so quiet. If only we had BGM for this entire dungeon, and not just this generic battle BGM. It is very nostalgic to go back to these old dungeons. Like, I did so many Amdapor keeps back in the day. I actually really enjoy this dungeon, although obviously you don't get the same experience really. Like with a lot of things, like Pharaoh Sirius was also an extremely great dungeon. I love Pharaoh Sirius, but there's no way Pharaoh Sirius is going to be the same way once we get to it as it was back when it launched. It's just going to be that way. The only things that really retain some of how they are, like some of their original feel, are the things that come out like towards the end of the expansion, right? Because those things are tuned for the gear level that you're typically at around those times. But even then, it's still not nearly the same. Like, you're never gonna get the same experience doing Titan Hard Mode or Titan Extreme or any of those really fun fights that I enjoy. Like, without spoiling anything from like Stormblood or anything like that, like a lot of my favorite fights come from actually A Realm Reborn and from Heavensward. There aren't any fights so far in Stormblood where I can look at it and say, yep, that's gonna be one of my favorites so far. But a lot of them do come from A Realm Reborn or Heavensward. Maybe that's just nostalgia. Who knows? Maybe when you get to 5.0, I'll be looking back at Stormblood and think that a bunch of stuff was great. Oh, I've been kind of avoiding using Doton, and the reason for that is because Doton does actually do more damage than Catan for AoE damage. If it gets to tick for most of the way. But since we're like just murdering these things, I don't think it actually will last long enough. It might. And also, I'm not confident in this tank's ability to keep things all in one spot, but you know. I remember when people used to think Doton was like everything. People would cast nothing but Doton, even on single target, which is always fun. One thing that I realized was just thinking about all of the dungeons we still have left to do. I don't remember a lot of them. Like, I'm pretty sure like once I get into the fights and I do them again, it'll all come back to me. But there's a lot of dungeons where I can't actually recall what some of the fights, the bosses are, or the mechanics, which is a little concerning. I prefer not to die in my videos, but you know. Also, I can't wait until we actually get to Heavensward so we can do the Heavensward quest to get our Heavensward abilities, because having to recast Huton actually really sucks. If you haven't played Ninja, or you're new to the game and you're just watching and following along with this series, basically you get an ability at level 54 for doing the Heavensward quest that basically makes it so that your Huton can be refreshed basically by one of your combos. It does less damage than an Aeolian Edge would do, but also this was also before they figured out that you should probably make certain bosses omnipositional. Now, Demon Wall will actually push you back with Repel, but I wonder if this works. It does not. So I used Arm's Length there, which is supposed to make it so that you don't get pushed back by effects, but it looks like it isn't programmed for Demon Wall. I like how we just went through that entire fight so fast. I didn't even get to talk about the mechanics. The mechanics of that fight is basically don't stand in the purple and be in the middle when he casts Repel, so you don't get repelled off the edge. Because if you get knocked off the edge, you can't get back into the fight at all. You're out of the fight. You have to respawn. There's no raising you. If you fall off, you're just dead. So don't fall off. This was back before they added the ability for you to respawn back on the on top of the arena, which is something kind of recent. Like there's a lot of fights where you can fall off of the arena. A lot of boss fights allow you to fall off the arena, and typically when you fall off the arena, that's it. You're done. Like unless the party wipes, you're done. You don't get to do anything else in the fight. Either the rest of the party clears it, or the rest of the party wipes and you try again. But I forget when they started making it so that you could start respawning back on the arena if you fall off. I think it was sometime in like 3.2 with the primal in 3.2, which I'm not going to name by name, but in case it's considered a spoiler. In fact, I don't even want to name some of the primals that we'll be fighting very soon in the 2.x series, even though it's pretty common knowledge at this point, like what you'd fight. It's been 5 years, right? Like it's been 4 to 5 years depending on which primal it is that the game's been out. And honestly, when it comes to primals, I mean, a lot of them are just summons, or you know, from previous Final Fantasy games. So it's like, well, duh. Of course you'd be fighting that thing. Okay, let's not stand in that. How about that? It's actually 4 enemies. The one time that it's actually a good idea to be casting Scatter. Actually, that's not true. I think Scatters might be worth doing if there's 3 enemies, but definitely not if there's 2. I'm not actually a sure about that. Like, I think potency wise the math is there potency wise, but gauge filling wise I'm not sure if that's the best way to go or not. But you get enough scatter procs that it probably is fine. I don't know. Generally not a good idea to let enemies face the party to cleave you, but it's fine. Oh, I'm pretty sure we're gonna melt this next boss too. This next boss used to be a lot more mechanically challenging, I suppose. It really wasn't. It's literally just you have to take, if you get tethered, you have to take it somewhere, and then you need to hide behind a statue during a certain attack. And honestly, I'm pretty sure we're just gonna kill it so fast that neither of those things are gonna be an issue. So who knows? That's the problem with doing some of these older pieces of content, is that you really just go through the motions, and you don't really care about what you're actually supposed to do anymore, which kind of sucks. But it's really just an unfortunate consequence of gearing and all of that. You can actually avoid both of these dull hands, by the way, if you want to. It's really not an issue if you do aggro them, but you can avoid them. Yeah, it looks like the tank's new as well. Oh yeah, I purposely have not been taking Diversion just because I know that I'm gonna get Shadewalker, but I actually am not gonna get Shadewalker for quite some time. In fact, I'm not even gonna be able to use Shadewalker even if I did have it for any level 50 content. So maybe I should consider taking Diversion. Imminent Catastrophe. So this is the attack you want to actually be hiding behind statues for. Okay, it does nothing. Why am I bothering hiding? That's what I want to know. Also, I just realized I should have casted Huton there, but I'll be without Huton for like 10 seconds. Look at that. We don't even need to kill the ads. That's amazing. That's Amdapor Keep, everybody. I promise it was a lot more fun back in the day. Or maybe you hated it even more back in the day because people, you had to do it so much. Who knows? I actually rather enjoyed Amdapor Keep. It was Wanderer's Palace that I hated because Wanderer's Palace has a lot of annoying gimmicks in it. Yes it did. Yes it did indeed. Oh, there's Melt. Actually, I think Melt was there when I came in. So we can head back to, I thought Melt aggroed us for a second. I was gonna get kind of scared. But we can head back to Rowena now. And then we can head back to Geralt, and he'll give us the next step, which I'm sure the next step is actually to go kill a bunch of stuff with the unfinished relic weapon. And then after we kill a bunch of like random enemies out in the world, then he'll tell us to go kill the Hydra with the unfinished weapon, which is kind of annoying because the unfinished weapon is like, it's item level 55, I believe. The unfinished relic weapon. The finished version of the weapon is item level 80, but the unfinished version is much worse. obviously, and in fact, I don't even think it has secondary stats on it. But the only fight you actually need to use the unfinished weapon on is Hydra fight, which the Hydra fight is probably going to be easy. Like everyone else is going to have synced down gear or something, so it'll probably be fine. But item level 55 or item level 60 or whatever it ends up being is obviously much worse than what we have, which is item level 130. Thankfully, we can just wear the rest of our gear as normal, like all of our like body armor, like all of our armor we can just keep wearing. It's just the weapon we need to switch out for. Yep, here's your glyph. And now we can head back to Geralt's. Geralt's. Hello. Oh, that's adorable. That is adorable, right? I should make that the thumbnail. Just get me, my squirrel, and my chocobo all in one thumbnail. It has absolutely nothing to do with Amdapor Keep, the Relic Quest, or Hydra, but that's adorable. Tab. I like how Amdapor Keep is way easier than probably like the majority of the leveling dungeons we've done so far, just because of how gear syncing works. In fact, do we even get gear synced or item level synced? We do. What's the item level sync? Item level 110. So since I'm actually 119, so there's 9 item levels worth of stuff that I'm not actually getting to use in those dungeons, but still, we blow right through them. In fact, the max item level you could be at level 50 at the end of A Realm Reborn was item level like 131. I don't actually know. Basically, you could be you could be full I-130, but if you did Final Coil and you got the Final Coil weapon, or if you completed your entire Zodiac quest weapon, your weapon would be I-135. In which case, I don't actually remember if that put you at 131 or not. And the later dungeons, you don't get item level synced, and the later trials, you don't get item level synced. But the earlier ones, I'm pretty sure hold the item level 110 item level sync. But even then, we still pretty much blow through the majority of those content anyway. Yeah, so now we have to go take the unfinished. It's item level 50, not even 55 like I said. The unfinished Yoshimitsu daggers, and then go kill a bunch of stuff with it, which compared to the daggers we were using is a 20 item level difference, which is basically one third worth of the power. So we're using a weapon that's about 2/3 as powerful as the weapon we've been having so far, so that's fun. But we only have to use it to kill like stuff out in the open world, and then, like I said, one fight. And we're probably going to get carried through that one fight anyway, because everyone else probably isn't working on the relic quest right now. Or if there is, there's probably only like maybe going to be 1 or 2. Let's go do this. In fact, we'll be able to get more EXP for our chocobo. What level is our chocobo now? The max level you can get without Faerie and onions is rank 10. And that's, you get enough SP points. Is that what they're called? SP points? Yeah. You get enough SP points basically to fill out an entire tree. And if you fill out an entire tree, you get a special barding. So if you fill out the healer tree, you get white mage barding. If you fill out the defender tree, you get paladin barding. And then if you fill out the attacker tree, you get dragoon barding. And if you fill out all three, like you use Thabnarian onions to keep ranking up to 20. I think that's the max rank now, unless they increased it, which there's really no reason to increase it because there's nowhere else to do with your SP points. But the chocobo on my main character is rank 20, and you get all three trees maxed out, and you get all three bardings as well. So, but Thabnarian onions are kind of a pain to make because you can only get them through gardening, and you can only get them by crossbreeding. And it's just really annoying, so I really haven't bothered with Thabnarian onions since doing it on my main. It'd be kind of cool if you could buy Thabnarian onions with like Grand Company seals. Now that it's been so long since they introduced those, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Especially since your chocobo really doesn't matter. It's basically just there to help you with open world content, which, don't get me wrong, having a chocobo there with you is pretty valuable sometimes, especially if you're a DPS, since you have a lot harder time self-sustaining yourself as opposed to a healer or a tank. So having a healing chocobo really helps out with a lot of open world content as a DPS indeed. And if you're a tank or a healer and you can't self-sustain yourself, then having more DPS from having an attacker chocobo is extremely helpful. And like I do, I opt for the hybrid, so it's like it's a healing and an attacker chocobo. I don't know why I just used Suiton there. Oh, I know why, because I actually do have trick attack. Honestly, I could probably just stand in that. Yeah, it only does 359 damage. Ooh, so much damage. I cannot wait to get Armor Crush. It can't come fast enough. It really can't. Why am I attacking this ballista right now? Like, why? There's actually no reason for me to be attacking it, but it's already mostly dead now, so might as well finish what I started. Yeah, now we just have to like loop around in a circle while we wait for the stuff to respawn. I could use True North to get my trick attack off, like actually like full potency, get the vulnerability up thing. But True North has like a 2.5 minute cooldown. And honestly, the things we're fighting have so little health anyway that I don't even want to bother. We're almost done. We only need like a few of each one. after this, we're only going to need one of each left. Okay, where am I gonna find these last two? Alright, looks like they're both over here. Perfect. Man, my chocobo's kind of slow, ironically enough. Alright, all done. Let's head back to Geralt's. Actually, let's use an 8th right ticket. Actually, running low on 8th right tickets. I started off with like what, 100? Now I'm down to 46. Which 8th right tickets really easy to get once you're level 60. And especially easier to get once you're level 70, because you basically get double the Centurial seals each day. And you can do more hunts. But once you have access to Centurial seals, you can just grab as many 8th right tickets as you want. Especially on the patches where the Centurial seals don't actually get you any upgrade items. Right now, you can trade in Centurial seals for upgrade items, but when you don't need the upgrade items, 8th right tickets are usually where I like to spend my Centurial seals. In fact, I have thousands of 8th right tickets on my other two characters. So, yeah, so much saved gil from doing that. So much saved gil. Yep. So now we have to go fight the Hydra. Now the funny thing about Chimera and Hydra is that for whatever reason, back in 2.0, these weren't in the duty finder. Like you had to do it like raid style. You had to go shout for a party and then queue in and then queue in outside of the actual spot where you where you fight Hydra and Chimera. So Chimera is like off in its own little corner in like northeastern part of Korthus, and then Hydra is actually outside. You fight it in Holotali basically, so it's right where Holotali is. So you'd stand out there and you'd shout, you know, looking to fill a party. We need this and this and this for Hydra, and it could take hours sometimes. So that was really annoying back then. Thankfully, they added into the duty finder, I think in 2.1 or 2.2, which made it a lot easier. I'm pretty sure it was in 2.1. But by then, I had already gotten like literally every single relic quest done. So the only ones I was missing was actually Ninja, because Ninja didn't come out until 2.4 actually. So yeah. So while we're waiting, we might as well go turn in this stuff that I forgot to turn in earlier. And then we'll probably end the video after we finish Hydra. I think after Hydra, it's literally just Ifrit hard mode, Garuda hard mode, Titan hard mode. And you unlock Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan in a row. And that starts off in the Waking Sands, I believe. You talk to Urianger, which I've heard people pronounce his name Urion J, which I've always called him Urianger because that's how the Japanese voices pronounce his name. But if it is pronounced that way in the English voices, then I do apologize. But that's how I've heard his name for the past 5 years. So now the funny thing about this, again, like you have to actually use your weapon. Like if you forget to equip your unfinished relic weapon while you fight Hydra, you have to fight it again, which I've seen people do that. I've seen lots of people do that, which is really unfortunate, especially especially back in 2.0 when you had to sit around and shout for parties. Oh man, that is not something I'm nostalgic about. That is not something I miss at all. I also don't miss the fact that you can glamour stuff now. Alright, so since we're in the Black Shroud, we might as well unlock Maniac Manor. I guess, why do I say Maniac? Maniac Manor. Maniac. Oh, that's not good. Hello? That's not a good sign. Wow. Basically, that's the disconnecting symbol. If you see that next to your name or next to anybody else's name, that means that they're lagging and possibly disconnecting, which is again not a very good sign. So before we actually do Pharos or Hawk or Copperbill, I guess we need to do Wanderer's Palace, which again, I'm not the hugest fan of Wanderer's Palace, like the original. I just there's a very specific gimmick in Wanderer's Palace that is extremely irritating, especially now. It is especially irritating now. And it always was irritating, but especially now it's irritating because this gimmick is still annoying and relevant even in our current overpowered, overleveled gear. And I've always just not liked it. But it is worth doing at least once because there are things in the Wanderer's Palace that you need to kill to finish up your Grand Company hunting log, which gives you company seals. And it might actually hinder whether or not you can get promoted to the next rank or not. I actually don't know. I've only been promoted to the next rank once because it took them like 4 years. Like, okay, maybe not 4 years. Maybe it was like 3.5 years to add another rank beyond the one that we're currently at right now. Well, oh, we're still, no. I just realized we're still in queue for Amdapor Keep. I don't want to do that again. That would be unfortunate if we got in that queue. Alright, let's head to Western Valen, right? Copperbell Mines? It's like actually right outside of Horizon, so... And we already unlocked Wanderer's Palace. Like, we unlocked it while we were waiting for, like, Cape Westwind or something like that. A few videos back. Yeah, I don't care. Like, Copperbill Mines is another one of those dungeons where it is extremely gimmicky. There's just, like, gimmicks everywhere in Copperbill Mines hard mode that makes it very annoying even in our overpowered item level state. So basically the pattern we can infer from this is that gimmicky dungeons and gimmicky fights are really annoying. Which is kind of unfortunate because gimmicky things are unique and interesting when they first come out, but doing them in a row a lot of times really wears on your sanity after a while. It also wears on your sanity when you wipe because of it as well. I actually don't know where I'm going now. What should I do? I can go and do beast tribes, I guess. We probably wasted a little bit of time since we had to back out of the queue. It's my fault for not deselecting Amdapor Keep. Take a little drink there so that my mouth or my throat doesn't get like completely dry. I'm gonna switch to Bard. Now I actually made sure to yeah, I actually made sure to put the unfinished weapon tied to my gear set so that when I do switch back to Ninja, I don't forget and accidentally do the fight with the wrong weapons equipped. Thank goodness we did not get pulling the fangs or pulling fangs or whatever. Basically, whatever daily quest you get that makes you do the stupid fate, quenching the flame. Because for whatever reason, that fate takes forever to freaking spawn sometimes. Like, I got that yesterday, and I had to sit there for like half an hour. Which, it's still nothing compared to how long I've had to sit there and wait for, like Atma fates, but still. It's annoying. It really is. We're actually really close to wrapping up again now. Like, we get 60 per day, right? And 420 is taking into account today's allowances. So tomorrow will be 480, which means basically 2 days from now is when we'll cap on rep, and after that that's max rank, I'm pretty sure. And we'll be able to pick up more stuff, like more minions and stuff from vendors. We'll be able to pick up the mounts, which I'm not the hugest fan of the majority of the mounts, but like the bomb chariot share thing is really adorable. I love that mount. That's from the Kobolds. I love that mount. That was one of my favorite mounts back in the Realm Reborn. I use that mount all the time. Like, a big part of why I really like the mount is because you just sit on it and it looks so cute when you sit on it. Just, you have a unique sitting animation when you ride that mount for some reason. Now the only problem about doing Beast Tribe quests on a different job is that because of the very nature of you doing Beast Tribe quests in these very populated Beast Tribe areas, you're gonna get aggro a lot, and that makes it extremely difficult for you to get de-aggroed to switch to the job you need to switch to. But thankfully we killed everything in this area, so we're all good to go. And even after you kill everything, it takes a while for you to be able to switch, which I kind of wish they would just add a button, right, where it just like automatically switches you to the job you queued as, and then makes it so that you can't like do any actions or anything, so that you're just ready to get in the queue. That'd be nice. Like, that would be cool. Now, I'm not actually gonna be able to do a whole lot of damage because I'm wearing these really crappy weapons. But that person just did what I'd said not to do in my white mage guy. Oh, my DPS. No. I actually do have ACT up because I was doing stuff on my main characters before I started recording this morning, so I just left it up. Usually I don't really bother on this character, but yeah. Now you do actually want to kill the wyverns, and you want to watch for fear itself as well. I mean, that's a huge mechanic a lot of people forget about. In fact, by a huge amount of people, I mean like half the party forgot about it. No, I messed up. I'm so used to having armor crush as a crutch that I forget I actually need to refresh it with my actual ninjutsu. So that mechanic, fear itself, basically if you're not standing directly under the boss when he casts it, he'll hysteria you, and when you get hysteria, you basically just run around completely at random, and you can't control your character, and you can run into these fire or ice pitches. But the boss is dead, so who cares? Like, who cares? Like, actually. Yay. Like how we spend like 10-15 minutes in queue just to kill this boss in like a minute. But we're done. Yay. I even received a commendation. I actually did absolutely nothing, but I received a commendation. Oh, hello there. Oh, well, yeah, I just did the one ninjutsu no one ever does. It's like Hyoton. What is it? What is it actually? Yeah, Hyoton, not Huton. It's Hyoton. This is the one that nobody freaking does. All it does is it binds. Basically, it's a complete waste. There's no reason for you to like ever bind anything, because binding stuff just it in the places where it would be helpful, it doesn't do anything. But I'm actually gonna save the rest of these quests for later. I'm gonna go just finish up the video. Go talk to Geralt one more time. Geralt. I feel like I just pronounce his name differently every time I say it. Geralt. This mount is pretty adorable too. I have a lot of adorable mounts on this character already. I have even more in my main, but you know. Like, I know a lot of people like the primal mounts you can get, which, I mean, they're cool and they're flashy and they're glowy and stuff, but a lot of the mounts I like are just the simple ones. Like, even just the normal chocobo. I like riding the normal chocobo around, especially since you can outfit it with whatever barding you want, which is always cool. Although I've been stuck wearing like the same barding for like ever, because it's just my favorite fight in the game. Came from my favorite fight in the game, so I'm gonna keep wearing it. I like how he just wants us to die so we can leave him alone. That's kind of messed up, actually. Yeah, so a bit of Doman lore here. Ninja came out in 2.4. So, by this time, I mean, kind of spoilers, I guess, but by this time we were exposed to some information about Doma prior, but doing the ninja quests basically gives you a lot more insight into Doma that was fairly limited beforehand. Alright, well, yeah, you can take your crappy unfinished weapons back now. Thankfully, they never make you do something like this again, where you have to use a really shitty version of your weapon to upgrade it. They do have light phases, and basically it just means that using your weapon and completing content with that weapon will give you a different light value depending on the difficulty or the time consumption of the piece of content you're doing. So like Fates would give you a very small amount, whereas doing something like an extreme primal or a raid would give you a lot more. But nothing quite as annoying as using a really crappy version of your weapon. So White Hot Ember from Ifrit, a Howling Gale from Garuda, and a chunk of Hyperfused Ore from Titan. And you also need a bottle of Rods at Hand, Quenching Oil, as well to cool it off, he says, which you can just buy that from the Poetics vendor, which it used to cost a whole lot more. I forgot how much it used to cost. I think it was like 400 Poetics or something like that. Something along those lines. Or actually it wasn't Poetics back then, it was Philosophy. Actually, it might have been 900 Philosophy. I think it was 900 Philosophy back then. Was it? I don't know. I know it was 900 Mythology to upgrade your weapon to get the 3 Thavnarian Reigns you needed. But I actually picked up all the stuff you need already. I have the Rads at Hand Quenching Oil or whatever. This was like 15 Poetics, and then the Thavnarian Mists, which you need to upgrade the relic weapon to the Zenith level, which gives it the cool glow. These were like 20 each, so what, 75 Poetics? So yeah, definitely a lot less than what it used to be, thankfully as well. But that should be a wrap for this video, because next video we're going to be tackling the hard mode primals, the OG hard mode primals, the verse 3. So it's basically the primals that were in 2.0 story, so Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan. Although we're switching the order of Garuda and Titan, because Titan hard mode is a big pain in the ass. It used to be, it probably still is, if it's just you kill it so fast that mistakes aren't as big of a hindrance as they used to be. And also gear just makes a lot of the getting knocked off the arena mechanics less deadly. So, but in order to unlock all of the hard mode primals, you do have to go to the Waking Sand, so that's where we're gonna head. And then we'll log out. Well, not log out, but we'll end the video. I might log out and take a break, but that's besides the point. Hey Alphano, you're just chilling? What are you actually doing? What? That must be related to the 2.1 story, because I have no idea what he's talking about. What petitioners? Oh, here's everyone. Here's Stola. Alright, what about you, Thancred? Alright, fair enough. If the walls could talk, such tales they would be able to tell. Yeah, like of the massacre of our entire order. Well, not our entire order, but the vast majority of it massacred. So, you know, that's a great tale to be telling, right? And Papa Limo's talking about Bahamut. The binding coil of Bahamut, which we probably won't do, because no one does it anymore. Alright, well, alright then. Oh wait, we were supposed to unlock the hard modes, but he doesn't have the quests. That's weird. Maybe there's like a precursor quest I have to do first. In fact, it probably tells us somewhere. make sufficient progress in the main scenario. Maybe we have to pick up the next quest first? That's kind of weird. Oh no, never mind. We haven't finished all of 2.0's main scenario. There's, yeah, here we go. There's one more thing right here, and this leads us to unlocking all the hardcore primals. I forgot about that. We have to talk to Minfilia first, but that will be next time. Do the chairs work now that people aren't massacred? They do. Look at that. The chairs work now. They're not a lie. But anyways, this is gonna be the end of the video. We did Amdapor Keep, we did Hydra, and we did some more progress on our relic weapon. We're almost done. We just have to do the hard mode primals, and we're basically done after that. So that should all fit into one video, hopefully, barring me doing some editing in post. But we'll have to see what happens then. But until then, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one where we tackle the original hard mode primals. So see you then. Sayonara. Bye bye.